Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning to all of you. Okay, we have, yeah, then we also joined. So, okay. Okay, may I know who's Aditi Kaushik?
Good morning, sir.
Hi, good morning. Good morning to all of you. Very good morning. Yeah, I just
Good morning,
want
sir.
to, yeah, good morning to all of you. Fine. So I think everybody, yeah, everybody started. Fine. So I'm going to, share my screen now. Okay. So let's see what's there for today. Okay, I'm going to, yes, so we are in the class 12, right? We are almost in the class 12. Let's make a slideshow. Okay. So we have already completed 12 lessons, okay, 11 lessons. And today we'll start, something different along with, some of the leftover yesterday's items. Okay. Let's see, let's go and see in the next slide what is there today. Okay, fine. First thing, so as usually for every class we do the revision of the previous day's class, right? So let's see, previous day what we learned. Okay, and then we'll do the new items in HTML form elements, and then I'll give you the practice work. Okay, yes. So the first question to Shan Mondal. I cannot hear you, Shan.
Dash are some of the attributes of the form element. ID,
Okay,
action,
very good.
label,
Label will not come for form. It's not, label is not the attribute. Label is not the attribute for form element.
and
Method
method.
and target and autocomplete. Okay. Yeah, fine. It's okay. Good. You try to memorize some of the attributes. Okay. Fine. Now let's go to the second one. So second one I give it to Advay.
Dash is the representation of the HTML form.
Yes.
Lesser than symbol.
Okay.
Form FORM.
Okay.
Greater than symbol.
Perfect. So good, very good to hear that. Now third one, I'll pass it to Dhanush. Dhanush, you attended this class, right? Yesterday's class, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Third one, you take it.
HTML forms I used to capture the user input.
Perfect. So if you want to capture any details from the user, right? So what you do, we make use of the HTML forms. Okay. So the fourth one is to Rohit.
Lesser than symbol, label, greater than symbol.
Correct. And the fifth one goes to Pradyumna.
Sir,
Yeah.
the attribute of HTML element, label is.
Okay, label element. Dash is the attribute of the label element.
For
Right. So what should be the value for the for? So what values does it take?
text sorry.
What value does fur take?
It takes
ID
text.
value.
Correct. So someone has said right. I do not know. So it takes the value of the ID of the input text. So input field, any input field. It can be any input field. So it will take the ID value. Okay. And I noticed in your code yesterday, like you have used space. So the first space name. So you try to avoid using the spaces for any ID values. Okay, ID is like an identity. So try to give without spaces. Like I used like first, and then name should be in camel case, N in caps. Like let me show you in the page. So ID is equal to within double quotes. I noticed like first name like this. So ideally, the correct way of doing the things is it's here within double quotes. Try to do FIRST and caps NAME like this without space. So if you have space, make it caps the next letter. Okay, that way you know like what is it about. So try to remember this one next time. Don't do the same thing. Okay, because why I'm saying is like sometimes spaces will create a problem. It is differently understood. So it will be understood as a different character. So try to use this form of value. Now let's, yeah, okay. Next one goes to Aditya.
The text box on the web page can be displayed using the text box tag.
No, it's
The
not
input tag.
right. It is the input tag.
Sorry.
So we'll use input and then we write the type. The value of the type will be text, TEXT. Okay, and one more thing here. So you remember this. I'm going to explain in the slide. So that what is the text box about? Okay, what is how when do we use text box? So when you want to capture user input as a single line text. Okay, this is the keyword here, single line text. So whenever you want to you want single line text, right? Then you have to make use of text box. Okay, I'm going to show it on the slide also for your sake. Just remember.
What if you want multi-line text?
Yeah, multi-line it provides. There is another another field, input field called text area. Okay, this is for multi-line.
For me, the placeholder is not working.
Okay, you send me your code. You have to send the screenshot and then I'll check.
It was, I tried, it was showing area
okay.
placeholder. I typed that also, not, it still not works.
No, you send me the screenshot of the code and screenshot how it is getting displayed. Then I would be able to visualize the things. Okay, if something is wrong, I can easily identify. Fine, Adway? You send me the screenshot. Okay, don't keep it for yourself. You have to share the things within the group. Then if somebody some of your friends know the answer, they will reply. Okay, fine. The next one will, yeah, next one is like dash or some of the attributes of text box element. So I'll pass it to Devanshi.
Can it be file, time, date?
No, not that one. So I'm talking about the attributes of text box.
Okay. ID, style.
ID, style, yes.
Can target be used?
Okay, correct. So target will not be used for text box. So the the attributes that text box will take is like ID, name,
Type.
value, type. So these are some of the attributes that you can make use of. Now let's see, like, how are label and text box elements are mapped. So this one I already just now said. So the label and the text box, any input field. So not only text box. So label and input fields are mapped using the ID and fur. The values of the ID and the fur should be same. Then that's how they both are tied together. Fine. Okay, the last one I just said. So last one I'll pass it to Vaibhav.
Yeah, text box is used for capturing dash of the user input.
Yeah. So what is the text box for? Yeah, just now I said.
The keyboard input.
See here.
Single line text.
Yes. So whenever there is a text, when do you want to use text box? If you want to capture a single line text, then you go with text. Okay.
Okay.
As a fine. So now let's get into what we have today. Okay. So once again, I'm not able. Okay. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Okay. Now let's. Wrongly clicked the fine. Okay, so yesterday we learned about label and I did not start my video, right? Oh yeah. Okay, yesterday we learned about the label and form and input, right? So we forgot to mention form here. So let it be, we mentioned in the previous slide, yesterday's slide. Okay, so here after text we are going to learn some other input fields. Let's see, in the slides what we have. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, these are some of additional input fields that we have. Okay, so I'll explain all these items whatever I have mentioned it here, so that it will give you some idea. But mostly we'll try to complete this week. All these items we'll try to complete this week, and we'll focus on building a small website. A small website. So you'll come to know how to build a website. Okay. In the last week. Oh yeah, correct. So we are learning. We will start with JavaScript also from today's class, so that it gives you some idea of how the JavaScript is used. Okay, so basically script. So script is for like JavaScript. We call JavaScript. It is like the client side scripting. So when we say client side scripting, what does it mean? The code is executed on the browser. Okay, so you have to understand the point here. Okay, let me show you on the screen. So whenever you develop a website, right? So the website part we call it as server, and the user accessing the website we call it as client. So you are trying to access any website, what you do? You'll use the browser, right? So client is basically browser. So and then server is like he can make use of website on internet. So it's like this. Try to understand this way. So client means you are trying to access a website which is on the server using browser. So what will happen is all the scripts, JavaScripts that you are going to write, right? So that JavaScript part is going to be executed in the browser. So that's why we say it as client-side scripting language. Okay, and so yeah, now we'll add the content. Okay, so how to add the JavaScript? So you see an example, right? So to add any JavaScript in the HTML page, right, you have to use script tag, less than symbol, script, and greater than symbol, followed by all the statements in the Java. Okay, Java function, JavaScript. Functions or any statements or single line statements, all will be written here in between. Okay, let me show you in the code how you can write the simple JavaScript. So for you today, you just try to understand this part, script tag. Okay, and you see the uses. So basically, what are the uses of the JavaScript? So you can make use of JavaScript for validations of the form. So user is going to, you see here, let's take an example. Validations means I'll give an example of our, yeah, let's go here and sign in here. I'm going to log out. So here, what will happen if I wrongly type? So the form is getting validated. Okay, the form is getting validated. So you see here, and then I click on login. What happened? The client side script is saying me that, you know, the data entered by you is wrong. So this is the validation. Okay, you will control user input using JavaScript. Okay, now let's see here the second point. So to change the HTML content dynamically. Okay, so this is also one of the important thing and should be careful here. What happens is, now you are writing the, you know, H1 like this, right? And then lesson, and then you are closing H1. So these are all HTML elements, right? So you can create these elements without writing in the body tag. So these can be created using JavaScript also. So JavaScript also provides a way to create an element. Okay, create an element. There are built-in functions. I'll explain one by one later. So for now, you try to understand the uses and the basic way of using the JavaScript. So first is validations. You can use it for validations purpose, and you can create the HTML content dynamically. Okay, dynamically means you can, JavaScript will create the content for you. You know, no need to add all the static content. And change the input field properties dynamically. So if you want to change the image, let's take an example. So let's take an example of the image. Okay, so now when initially the image is displayed, it is with 100 by 100 pixel, right? So you can change the size of the image using JavaScript dynamically. So that's what comes under this part, like, you know, dynamically you can change the properties also. Okay,
But
now
what
let's see.
specifically does dynamically mean in JavaScript?
Yeah, you want to know what is this dynamically, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll show you in the code. Okay, for now, you know, when we slowly build the code, right, you'll understand that part. So for now, you just understand it is used for validations, content dynamically. Dynamically is a better example is, you see here. I'll show you an example. Okay, I'll show you an example. Fine. Okay, today is lesson 12, right? So I'm going to create a separate row for our today's class, so that single point reference will be there. 12, class 12. Okay, all these days we are using HTML, right? So initially I told, you know, we use HTML file can be used with HTM and HTML extension, right? So I'm going to use HTM here just to show you whether it works or not. We haven't tried this, right? Yeah, I'm going to save it. So class 12 is with HTM. Okay, now let's see. We need to create .htm file. Let's go and create here. Class 12.htm. Okay. And then what we need to give in the file? Pratimna, what we have to write in this
The
file?
basic structure.
Right, the basic structure. So let's add the basic structure. Okay. Okay, yeah, this part. I'll just take out this table alone. Then it becomes basic for us for our development purpose. So yeah, this base tag also we don't need. I'm going to remove this. Now let's see what, yeah, we are learning about JavaScript, right? JavaScript and form fields, right? So we are learning two things, JavaScript and form fields. Let's see here. This one is about the script, right? Yeah. Okay, this one is JavaScript, right? Okay, and I'll give, yeah. Let's see. This is a basic structure for us, right? This is a basic structure. Fine. Give me a second. 1 second. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. We have built the basic structure, right? Basic HTML structure. Now let's see, like, where to write the script tag. We learned about the script tag, right? The right place. You see here, the right place for writing the script tag is inside the head tag.
Is it because the script tag is a meta tag or something?
What is that?
Is the script tag a meta tag?
It's not the meta tag. It's not the meta tag. I'm going to show you. It's a script tag. Script is like, you can write JavaScripting, the client side scripting. So it's about the configuration part, right? It's like, all the HTML pages configuration, we'll be writing it in the head part. So this is like, one way of writing the configuration. And HTML allows to write this one inside the body also. So just before the last line of the body, you can add script tag, and you can add your functions here also. So two ways. Either you can add it in the head or you can add it in the body also. So why, when do we have to use it in the head and when do we have to use it in the body? I'm going to tell it now.
I have a question.
Okay.
Will it give the same output if you write it in the head or the body? Like, does it make a difference?
Yeah, it makes the difference. Okay, it makes the difference. Why we are writing in two different places? Because sometimes what happens is, usually in this HTML pages, right? So suppose, after, let me show you. Okay, let me show you with the example. So here I'm going to write variable name is equal to, so this part you just forget. Okay, okay, I will confuse you. I'll be confusing you, so I don't want you to get confused. So let's see a basic thing. Okay, so we wrote the script here. Okay, and basically the JavaScript you can see by using alert statement. Okay, within that alert statements, okay, so now we just wrote an alert statement inside the script. Okay, what happens is, as soon as the page gets loaded, right, this statement will be as head, right? This is head, means what? All these details should be executed first, right? First line of the page, and then it goes to the body, right? You all understood, right? So what happens is, now you see, I'm going to add the content here, alert, and then alert says I am in the JavaScript. Let's run this program and see what happens. Okay, let's run this program. How to run? I'm going to the browser, close this. Yeah, let's add localhost, and the port number is 1000. All lessons, and then you see here we have the added the last line. So click on this. Okay, click on this. So what happened? We got a pop-up, right? Pop-up message saying I am a JavaScript alert. Now see, I'm going to show why dynamically I said. So it's because let's try to add an element. Okay, what any element, like input. We learned about input, right? So type is equal to text, and then ID is equal to username. So I just gave a simple text box, and let's give a placeholder also. Okay, so now let's see here. I'm going to refresh this. So there is an alert here. So when the alert came, do you see any text box printed here? No, right? So first, what came? The script executed first, and then the text box executed second. Now let's see. I have given a username, right? So I'm going to access this field in the script here. Okay, so what I do, how do I access? I can access using a variable. Okay, variable v is equal to document dot get element by id. So element by id, what it means? So it will try to scan the whole content for an id attribute. Okay, for an id attribute. So this is an id.
Then
What
where do you put the ID inside?
Yeah, here you have to give within single quotes, you just give the name of the id. So I want username. So suppose let's add one more field. Okay, let's add one more field. Let's make it as first name, and let's make it as last name. Okay, so I'll just add last name here, last name and first name. So here I'm trying to retrieve first name. Okay, I'm trying to retrieve first name in the script, and then I'm going to print here v dot value. Okay, so I want to see, like, what value is there in the first text box. Let's see here. I'm going to refresh this. Yeah, you see two things printed here. So what is there? There is an alert statement. Alert did not get printed.
It will
Why?
only get printed once you type.
No, it's not that. You see here.
Because it's before the input. Because
Yeah.
then there's no input inside the first name.
No, it's not like that. You see here. There is a problem here. There is an error. Because as the script gets executed, it's trying to find for the first name, right? So when it is trying to find the first name in
You
the
should move
document,
them to the last line of the body type.
yeah. Repeat again, Vaibhav.
I think you should move the whole script
The body
tag
inside the body.
inside the
Yeah,
body.
right. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah, you see here, it is trying to scan the whole content for the ID attribute with the value of first name. So when the script gets executed, this document content is not, is not available to the script. So it says, like, undefined. So, and then when you say there is a find a value of undefined, undefined element. So there is no undefined element, right? So that's why there is an error here. That's why alert statement did not get printed. You see, I'll show you. Right click on this, inspect. Can you see here? So I'm going to refresh this, close this one. I'm going to reload this. And as soon as I reload, you can see an error here, right? See, there is an error here. Okay, somewhere. See here, it is showing pretty print. What is this? This is some kind of engine, yeah. So it's trying to use some level of code inside, yeah, which is not related to us. Ours is here, you see, class 12.htm. You can see here, right? So there is an error here. The console is saying there is an error. What error? You see, I said, right? The first element it's not trying to find. So that's why the alert, landed in an error message. So you see here uncaught. So the read the property value of null means what it is saying is, I'll close this one. What it is saying is it's trying to get the value of this text box, okay? But this text box is not yet rendered. So that's why what's happening is we became null here. And then that's why it's okay. Let's remove
What
this.
do you mean by rendered?
Rendered means displayed. Displayed, just display on the browser. Display on the browser is called render. Okay. Now let's see here. I'm saving this. I'm just typing V to see what is this content about. Okay, let's refresh this. Now alert will print. What? Null. Because we are not writing anything on this null. Like, dot value, dot something, right? We are not doing. So we are just accessing the text box and that text box is not available. And that's why it is saying null. Okay, and then the text box is printed here. Now let's move the same thing here. Okay, the same content. I'm going to move this content. Okay, I'm going to move this content. I'm going to move this content to the inside body. Okay, so I move the whole content inside the body and I'm going to save it. Okay, some of you may have a doubt. So what I used is I pressed Alt, selected the content first. Okay, you see here, if you want to move in the Visual Studio Code, right, select the content, press Alt key, and then use up arrow and down arrow to move that content where you want to move. Okay, this is a shortcut key in the Visual Studio Code. Select the content, press Alt and then up arrow or down arrow. Okay, so let's see now the same code. I'm going to execute it now. So will this value come now? Let's see. I'm going to refresh. Now you see it is not null. You understood, right? The difference when to use it in the head and when to use it in the body.
I didn't understand.
Okay, fine. I'll explain it again. Yeah. When do we need to write the JavaScript code inside the head element or inside the body? So this is the question.
Check just now you put v dot value. Now you only put v.
Yeah, let's put no in it. So, okay, in earlier case, all I just move the same content, save it. In this case, you got null, right? So you got a null. So anything on null means it will lead to an error. So the same thing I'm moving it to down. The same thing I'm moving it inside the body and save it. So ideally it should print null, but the content of the body is already available. So what happens is it will print the element. What is this input element? So first element is there, right? First name is there, right? So that's the element here. Now let's see. We'll give a default value and see.
Is there any difference between v and v dot value?
Yeah. There's a lot of, it's like, you are, see, whenever you see the document.get element by ID, right? It means you are getting the whole element you are getting. And when you get the whole element, you can access the placeholder, ID, type, and then you can see.
Okay.
So same thing, value is like, currently you don't have any value, right? So you can add value also. So value also. So before that, we'll see there is no value entered in the text box, that's why it comes empty. And then you see here, now also it will come empty because the event is already occurred. So what we do here is, let's have a default value here. Value is equal to, I just mentioned, I pass and then save it, refresh this. Now you'll get the value of the first element. First element is what? First name. So this element you're going to get. Now let's see, the value we have access. Well, let's try, the placeholder can also be accessed or not. I'm not sure, but we'll try. Okay, you can access the placeholder also. See first name, please, right? And you can access all actually, type also is there, right? Let's access type also and see type of this element, what element you have, accessed here using the ID value. So that element's properties, you can access it now using this statement.
Can we access the whole element?
Yeah, the whole element is this one. This is the whole
But
element.
now we are accessing like specific like attributes of it.
Yeah, that's true. You can access V itself is a whole element. This is a whole element. V itself is a whole element. Okay. Fine. So this is about basic JavaScript. You try to digest this part. This is like very simple, and then you just write a script tag and an alert statement. That's enough actually. This part you ignore. Okay, you ignore. This is like advanced level. So I'll when I explain it later, then along with the input tags, right? Then you can start learning that part. Now you just see alert and then give a simple statements here. Okay. Something like this. Just try to understand what the script tag, how the script looks like. So I'm going to explain in detail when I'm talking about other elements. Okay. Now let's add this script here.
Is it necessary after the round brackets to put a semicolon?
This one, right?
Yes.
Yes. All JavaScript statements must end with semicolon. Okay, it cannot take like this. I'll press enter here, right? It is wrong. It is wrong. So all the statements should appear in a single line.
The semicolon denotes like the end of the line.
Right. Perfect. So end of the JavaScript statement. Okay. So I'm going to explain that part in detail. Okay. For now, I just wanted to give you a feel of how JavaScript will be. Okay. Here, one more example I will tell you. Okay. So what is that? Okay. I will move this part. Okay. I'll move this part down and show it to you. Now here, understand that I don't have a text box here. So how does it look like now? Let's see the output. I'm inside the script element. I have one text box only, right? I don't have a second text box. Let's see here in the script tag. What I do is here I'm going to add an element, okay, and any element. So for now I just take it as div. You forget about what is div. I'm going to tell it in the one of the slide. So I want any element.
We have not covered div.
Yeah, you just for now we'll use it. Okay. I'm going to explain it in the next slide. There is a slide inside.
Div is division, right?
Yeah, div is like division of section. But for now you just understand like I don't have any element, so then I use a default. So this is like a grouping element. So don't worry about this now. I want this part now. So for this purpose only I'm just using this. So here I give I'm giving a name to this element. Okay, I'm giving a name to this element. It doesn't print anything. Okay, it doesn't print anything. You want to see, you can see. I'm going to refresh this. This is a script tag and it doesn't print anything.
Because there is not. Is it because there is nothing between those two
right.
greater than?
Right. Correct. The starting tag and ending tag, there is nothing. So if you type anything, then it will be printed. Then it will be printed. You see, it's printed now, right? So now I'm not doing anything. I'm keeping it empty so that I will print the content here using JavaScript. So that will answer how the content is printed dynamically. So the Vaibhav's question. So now I got an element here. So here what I do here is, after this alert statement, I'm going to print document dot get element by ID. I'm going to call element. Okay, what is this element? It will try to find this div. Now I got this div, right? So in this div, I can dynamically set the content. Inner HTML is equal to, within single quotes, I'm going to add the content. So whatever content I had added it here, right? Earlier the last name. So I can add the content here like this. So now let's see what happens in the code. See here, I got the text box here. Did I use the text, did I use the tag here, the input tag? So the input tag is not there here, right? But we managed to get the input tag here for last name. How dynamically JavaScript allows the content to be created. So I'm trying to create this content, the text box content. So
Can you modify also?
Yeah, you can do anything. You can
How can we create the content?
Yeah, here you see, we have to make use of inner HTML. So what it means is, I am trying to add content to this element. So this element is there, right? For this, there is no content here, right now. So what happens is, this element is added inside this. You can see it in the browser. Right click on this, inspect. You see here, there is a div element. And inside div element, you have a text box here, right? So there is first name here. That's it. You see, the content, this content has been added dynamically, right? We did not add using the HTML tags, but content has been added. So that's why JavaScript is so powerful, very powerful. But we should use it with care actually. So if it can access the whole content in the page. So most of the hacking, right? Most of the hacking happens using this JavaScript. Just to give you an idea. Okay, now you understood, right, Vaibhav? Your question, the dynamically means what?
Yes, I understood. I also have a doubt if you can change the attributes or add attributes.
This one?
Yeah, as in using JavaScript, can you add and change attributes?
Yeah, you can change. You can change. Everything is possible. I'll tell you in the next classes, okay?
Okay.
We'll be diverting the content actually. Otherwise, we'll get delayed in learning the few slides, other slides. Okay.
Sir,
So try it. Yes.
what's the difference between a dynamic website and what's that other type of website?
Static,
Oh,
right?
yeah, static website. Yeah.
Static website. Okay. Static is like, just for information purpose. So you'll not be having any forms or user accepting input forms or anything.
So basically like a blog.
Yeah, basically like a blog. You are just giving an information, like, whatever you type, that content is displayed. So there will be no coding like this, no code. You are all writing the code, right? This is all manually written. Whereas in the static content, there are some tools actually. So you can just drag and drop and then build the content. The best example is you go to a Wix. So it's a website builder. So here you can just build the static content. Means whatever you write, yeah, blogs is the right you can make use of WordPress also. So WordPress is also one of the website building tool. So here you can create WordPress, and then you can start building the content. So whatever content you type inside, right, that content will be displayed. So you will not be writing these tags and all, you will not be writing. So it will automatically generate the tags for you. Okay, so when it generates, right, so you will be mainly focusing on the content here, like, this is one content, and then you're typing, yeah, this is the heading, right? So this heading you can create using the, okay, this one you can create using static. So like you see here, yeah, here we don't have any static content here. You see, for us the static content is this one. Let's take an example of this. This one is just like, you are displaying as is, so whatever you have typed in the page, it's getting displayed here. That is static. If you write something like this, this is dynamic, means based on certain conditions or properties you are displaying this part, then that is conditional, right? So it is conditional, means it involves programming. So when you write it through program, it is like dynamic, you can say it like that. So you'll get a clear idea when you start building your own website. Okay, so that next week we will look into it. Okay, for now you try to understand only the tags which I'm talking. Okay, yeah, all these tags, whatever I have mentioned in this part, right? You try to understand what is text box used for, what is password used for, what is color used for. So these are all user user input accepting tags. Actually all these are input fields.
Yesterday I tried to use most of the HTML form elements.
Okay, good to hear that. Actually, that's why I gave you all the details here, so that you'll try on your own. So that gives you some level of understanding, basic understanding. Now let's see, like, what's there for in the slide today, so that otherwise we'll get delayed. So all your questions, you can ask me in the group also. Okay, so I'll try to answer whatever I can. And then uh, these are all some of the fields we have to cover, all these things, so that you'll get the basic idea of what are all the input fields available, right? Yes, we learned about the script tag also. We will improvise, means we will add a lot of content to the script in the subsequent classes. I'm going to show you that part how. Okay, now let's, yesterday we learned about label and text box, right? So I have added some content to understand it more. Like, the text box is a form field, and the form fields are displayed using input tag, right? This one, and label tag is used to define the label the form field. So if you want to label the form fields, you can use it. You can use the label tags. So the text box is used to define the single line text field. So that's what I said. If you have a requirement to capture a single line text from the user, you can make use of this text. And then some of the attributes for it is like, type, name, ID. Okay, and label also some similar to this we use for attribute for that. So this slide, I just gave you some statements, and we'll see the password. So yesterday we learned about the text box, right? Password is also same, nothing different, not big difference. The only thing is the data that you enter will be masked. Masked means it will be displayed with asterisk or single dot, something like that. Let me show you this part also. Okay, so what I do
Will
is,
it be cross-checked?
It will be showed in a lot of dots.
yes, correct. So I'll show you that part. I'll just write the code, and then you'll get some idea, okay, how to use the password field. So I'm going to remove this part. Okay, I'm going to remove this part, and I'll just add an alert statement. And here I'm going to remove this part also. Okay, this part also I'm going to remove. I will take the yesterday's contents and start building, adding all the items. Okay, yesterday's is this one, right? So we understood about, yeah, I'm going to copy this part. Okay, the whole part we'll build on top of this, so that at the end of the class, right, you'll get all the items at one place. Okay, so demo of form tag, we are done with the label, and then here comes last name. Okay, after last name, let's go into the next section. I'm going to remove this part for now. Let's see how it looks here. Okay, and then we have this one. So the content doesn't look good, so we'll change the body. Okay, we'll change what's the body font width. So Yeah, one more thing. So it's a plain white color background, right? So let's change the
You
color.
can, in the head side, you can put style, then body, then background color, and
Okay,
the color you
okay.
like.
Yeah, that part we will go when you start writing the advanced CSS, right? We'll go to that level. For now, the styles I'm giving as individual styles for each element. So the body tag, I'm going to add a style. Okay, for the if you want to give a style for individual element, right? You make use of style attribute. Okay, now style, what I want to give, I want to give a background color for this. Okay, so you can just make use of background color, and then the editor will give you what color you want. So I'll give Bollywood and then save it. Let's see how the color looks background. Okay, I'm going to give okay. So now you see, this is how you change the background. And there are multiple ways actually you can use CSS statements. That part I'll cover it, while building the content. Now we have this style attribute, and the representation, right? Yesterday I explained. So what is this called? The whole content? Anybody?
That's
Style property.
oh yes.
It is a style property, and the notation is like, you are giving the style. What style is that? And separated with a colon, and give the value
Bollywood.
property, and each
But it should be separated with a semicolon.
semicolon. Yeah, if you're adding one more property, right? I want to add one more style property. So what I do, font family, I want to add a font family for the whole body. So what I do, I'll just select Courier new, Courier or monospace. I'll just select this font and then save it. Let's see, the font also gets changed. You see the font also got changed, right? So now let's build the content, okay, one by one. So this is about the text box. Now let's do something else. Okay, password. We were discussing about the password, right? So let's write password here. Okay, demo of this one. Label. Yeah, I'll add this part here. So this is like, what is the ID? User password. Okay, if you can give any name here, any name for the text box. So this is not text box, right? This is a password we are talking. Just type password here, and then this is demo of password. So this label we already gave up, right? So we don't need this part.
You never changed the for.
Yeah, correct. Very good. I'm going to copy this and then I'm going to paste it here. So this is like, I'm going to give a text like, your password. Okay. And then let's see here. I'm going to refresh this. What happened? Yeah. So now you see the for your password. So here, anything you type, okay, I'm typing iPassMo. See, everything comes in dots. So user will not be knowing like, what he's typing, but it is for the security reasons. They want to, if somebody is behind you, right? So, and you don't want password to be seen.
Can you add that function where you can click? There usually a button beside where you can click.
Yeah, there's like an eye on the side. If you press that eye,
Right. You want to do that? You can definitely do that. Just now I said, right? Okay. Let's as Vaibhav said, right? So we'll try to build that part also. Then it would be easy for you to understand. Okay. Now I have written the script, right? So what I do is we'll learn about the button. After learning about the button, then we will see. Okay. So now I'm going to add a button. So how to add a button? How to add a button?
When I tried the button part, the text was behind the button.
Okay, I'll explain how. Okay, let's learn about the button also here. Okay, demo of the password. This is demo of button. So this button, right? I'm going to give type as button. Okay, and ID, I don't need any ID for this. I don't need any ID. So what should happen on click of the button?
Show the password.
Yeah, here I need to give a value for the button. So what value you want to see? Show password. Okay, I'm going to show the password when I want to show on click, right? So on click. So I'm going to call a JavaScript function. So this is an event. You see here on click is there, right? On click is a JavaScript event. Okay, means an event that you are going to trigger. So when this button is going to be clicked, right? So when you click on this button, you want certain action to be performed, right? So that action we call it as HTML events. So now I want to call a function on this. Okay, so how to write a function, JavaScript function? You try to see here. I'm going to write a function called show password. This is my own function. Okay, and then within you have to give open brackets and then close brackets and semicolon. Okay, now you have given show password here. So this function should be available, right? So what you do is here alert statement is there, right? I'm going to remove this alert statement. So inside script, I'm going to write this function. How? Click here, the how to create a function. See here, these are the steps. So the JavaScript functions will first started with function. Okay, function is a keyword here. Okay, you try to use function keyword here, and after function give a space, give one space, and then whatever function on click event you have mentioned, right? So you give that function name. So I usually recommend whenever you want to try to give a function name, right? So try to copy it. Okay, whatever you copy it here, try to paste it here. Okay, don't try to manually type. So when you try to manually type, sometimes what happens is you accidentally give show password like this, and then you won't be able to identify. There will be an error. So try to give, copy paste this part, and then the function starts with open bracket and close bracket. Okay, so this is the definition, creation of the function, but you need to give
What
what is the
about the
implementation.
semicolon?
I'm telling you that part. So how to write the content for this function? Using curly braces, open curly braces, closed curly braces, and then press enter. Okay, always remember, this is like a open curly brace. Okay, whenever you type open curly brace, the end will automatically come by given by the browser, the editor. And then third one is you have to add the content. So add the content similar way, like start it, end it, and write the content. Okay, now we are going to write the content for show password. So here you have to declare a variable. So how to declare a variable? Using var. Var is nothing but variable. So I'm going to declare a variable called user password. So I have given my own name. Any name you can give. This part can be anything. Okay, so to give you a clear picture, so I'll type like this.
So whatever we wrote in the password label in the password part, we need to write the similar thing.
Yeah, this one you're talking?
Yeah, we should no in the for area for the user PWD password. Should we write the same exact thing?
No, not exact thing. You can, this part variable is like, this variable is within this open brace and close brace only. So the scope of this variable will be within this function only. You can define any variable name, You can give your name also here. Okay, and then for that variable you have to assign what we want. We want to show password, right? So if you want to show password, you need to get an element, password element first, right? So for getting the password, so what you do, you click here. So this is a built-in function. Document is nothing but It is a built-in keyword which refers to this document. The whole HTML page document is there, right? In this document, you want to find an element, get element by ID. Okay, you are trying to find an element. So what element? It can be label, this input or form or paragraph or H3 or body, anything. It can be anything. It will try to scan whole document for the ID with the name. What is that? I want password, right? So I'm going to use the ID value only. So I'm going to copy it again. Don't use try to type, try to paste it. Okay, same name, because the name should be same here. So you're trying to retrieve the element, password element, using its ID value, right? So now I'm using user password here. Okay, so this is how you represent the JavaScript function. This is a complete JavaScript function. Now you got an element here, HTML element. So I want to see the content here. So what I do,
You can convert it into text.
can convert it into text, right? So instead of that, what I do here is I'll write a div here. Okay, and this div I will give an ID for this. I'll just give password and then close the div. So what I do here is I'm going to add the same content here. Okay, I'm adding the same content and I'm going to get this div. I'm going to get this div, and this div don't have any value, right? So I'm going to add a value. Inner HTML is equal to, and then I have this one, right? So I'll get the actual password field. Okay, actual password field is here, dot value. Okay, whatever password field's value is there, right? So I'm going to get that HTML element first. So get user password is the HTML password field, and using that password field I'll get the value, and then I'm going to display it in the password field. Let's see here. I'm going to save this part. So here in this case you need to you'll get a doubt here. In earlier case we did document.getElement by ID of password field. It did not work, right? So in this case it will work, because this function is not executed first. This function will be executed when you click on this button only. This function will be executed because you mentioned on click event. You understood, right? Any doubts here?
No, no.
Okay.
Clear.
So
Yeah.
I didn't understand the last line, the document.getElement by ID.
Okay, this part, right? So
Yeah.
basically I'll cut this one. So this is okay. You try to understand this part. Just I have written the show password and it is not doing anything. It just gets the password. So here what I do here is alert, and then inside alert what I do, user password dot value. I'll just type like this. Okay, in this case we don't need this also. Okay, I'll just, yeah. So now let's see, refresh this page. Yeah, I'm going, where is that? So yeah, ours is here. Refresh this page. Now you type anything here and then click on show password. What should it do when I click on show password?
It will pop
Show
up
in
and
text.
show the password.
Yeah, it will show a pop-up with the entered value. Click on this. See here, it's shown iPass more. So now you click on this, should show whatever I typed.
But sir, what do we do if we don't want it to pop up? Just show like quickly.
Right. That's one of the things. So you can type any password and you can see it. So that's your code actually. How you want it to, that's the requirement, your own requirement. So your requirement is to display in the same text box, right? So what you do is you got the user password, right? Now this user password, you can change its type. So its type is there, right? User password type is equal to, so you are changing
Text.
the type to, you can change it to text. Okay, so now the password became text, right? So when it becomes password text, right, that's it, you don't need to do anything. Let's see here. Okay, let's see here, refresh this.
Does the double forward slashes work as a comment tag?
Yeah, correct. Oh yeah, that's very good question. Okay, so before this Advay, let me explain this part. Like, I got the password field, and that password field I changed its type from password to text box. So like this, its type, I accessed its type attribute, and that type attribute I'm changing its value to text. Okay, so in that case what happens is, as soon as you click, so I type something here, then it becomes, so I'm going to refresh this again. So see here, I'm going to type the characters, it is the password, right? So as soon as I click on show password, it becomes, whatever I typed, it is converted into the text box. So
But
it's
then it
all,
does not go back to the hidden format.
yeah, it's not the hidden format, it's just, whatever you typed, you are just changing this is one more, one kind of making the requirement. Like, you can just, after some time, just like a checkbox, you can add a checkbox here. Whenever checkbox is checked, you show this as a text box, and then when checkbox is removed, you show it as a password again, like that. So
Okay.
that kind of logic you can write it here. Okay, you can write it. Okay, as Advai said, so the comments are started like this, single line comments. If you have single line comments, right, so you can give like this, control and forward slash, you can write comments. So for double forward slash in JavaScript is a comment. Okay,
Yeah.
and I don't want to use single lines, I want multi-lines comments. So I have multi-line comments means,
Then it's three, what's that called? The
no,
single.
you should give forward slash and asterisk, and you just go back here, asterisk, and then forward slash. So this is the multi-line comments.
So if we don't put the asterisk and the forward slash, everything will become a comment.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah,
If you
if we don't put the end part of the
yeah, correct. Everything will becomes comments, you see the whole page, because there is no ending tag. So you always have to give ending part for this. So you go here, come back here. So come back here, and then you give star and forward slash. That's it. You see, you got this, right? So we learned about the comments also here, single comments and multi-line comments, and JavaScript function, the notation. So you try to remember or memorize this part, how to write a function. So JavaScript function, the JavaScript function starts with, script tag. Okay, and it should end with script tag. Within this, you have to write a function. How? Function is a keyword. That's why, it's coming in blue color. And this part, this is like, user defined function, can be anything, but this one should be same as the one you specify in the events attributes. Okay, HTML event attribute. On click is a HTML event attribute. So that's why you can add it here. Okay.
That's it for today, or what?
Yeah, I because we actually diverted to a lot of other subjects, but that's all very important things as well. So this way we'll learn. Actually, we'll learn one by one. Okay, now we understood anyways, I had a plan to explain the basics of JavaScript. So this is the best way of learning the JavaScript. Like, as and when it is required, you try to learn this JavaScript. So this JavaScript function is needed here because of this event, on click event. So here we learned, like, we also learned button, password. Anyways, I have a slides, right? So I have slides for other fields also. So Again, if button comes in between, I'm going to explain button also there. Okay.
What does this request remote control do in Zoom? I'm just
Okay. Okay. It's like, you are trying to control my computer.
Okay.
So you want to control my computer, so you can send the request like this.
Where did you find it?
In the top part, like you are viewing iPasmo technology screen in the view options.
So you have the choice to accept or decline, right?
Yeah. I have a choice of accept and decline. I'm declining it because that is a security reason. I'll tell you. Yeah. Yesterday,
Wait, but
yeah.
if you weren't an administrator on your computer, would it ask you an administrative password?
I didn't get what you're saying.
No, it's because those school computers, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't allow you to download stuff. Yeah, it's
Right.
because you're not an administrator.
Right, correct.
They would ask you an administrative password if you are
Right.
using remote access or something.
Right, correct. So here in Zoom, right, what's happening is you are all requesting to control my computer. So I'm declining all the requests. So that is a security reason. You should be very careful in this part. Suppose like if you see yesterday and day before yesterday, I have installed NGNX server to Hasini and then Devanshi and some of you. I always say one thing here. Even if I'm asking for a remote control, right? Remote control or anything, you should be very, very, very cautious on what you're trying to give access. Okay. Why I'm saying is this is a security risk to your computer. This is very important. That's why we must be very careful. So what I usually from my side I do is I will not request for remote control. I will give the instructions. I'll ask them to share the screen, and once the screen is shared, I will ask them to do step by step process what I tell, so that the everything is in your hands. So whatever happens, it is in your hands only, right? So that's the main thing actually. If you are giving control to other person, so nowadays I already said in the first class itself, there are scammers looking.
Maybe you should use what's that called, remote support.
Yeah, remote support, that too from your trusted organization, like so I'll tell you an example. Recently what happened is one of the guy, his computer, when he was trying to access some websites, so there was a pop-ups coming saying like your computer is at risk, please contact the below number. So what that guy did, he called that number and then he told them like I'm getting these pop-ups when I access this website. So what they did is like they I accepted, okay sir, we understood, can you please give me your remote control so that we'll try to fix it now. That is one risk actually. So that guy gave control to that person, and what he did is he logged his computer, he changed his password, and then the computer cannot be used at all. So again later what happened is that guy kept on calling. So I called this number.
He
and
asked
then
for money.
yeah, that guy asked for money. You pay me this much money, I'm going to unlock your computer. So like that, many of the people, right, they lost thousands and thousands of dollars. So that's the scamming. That's why I always say you're all at risk, but
Actually you can
in
just
accessing.
wipe the device.
Why
What is
would
it?
he
Delete
call
all the
the
data.
number?
Yeah, that happens. That may happen actually. That may happen. So that's why you should be very careful when using internet. And then
I